Greetings, love, light, and darkness be unto you. It's your girl, Empress Queen Kenya, coming to you live. I am going to be talking about tantric energy today. That is the focus of this soul inspiration. Tantric energy. If you have not noticed by now, that most of all my soul inspirations are focused on you. Things to inspire you, to encourage you, to uplift your soul journey in this realm of life. So if you find yourself in a state of being where you're just totally becoming and needing direction, guidance, assistance, some insight on this journey that you're on, and you come across me, then hey, you found you a golden nugget. So let's just jump right into this, shall we? Most people, as soon as they hear tantric or tantra, they automatically have thoughts of sex, sexual energy. That is a part of what it is. That is only a part of what it is. That is not all of it in totality. So what I want to do is share some light for y'all and give you some insight. These things that I share are always things that you can look up for yourself, but I'm always willing to give my perspective in hindsight of what the literal meanings are that's presented to us in this world. Okay? So, tantric energy. Now, essentially, tantra is like the practice of Hinduism, Taoism, and shamanic traditions. More of the sexual exercises come from the Taoism and shamanic traditions. People of the Hindu culture, which can be found in India, they have these different techniques that they do when performing spiritual rituals, and just adapting and adjusting to ways that helps along the spiritual journey. Okay, so it's a spiritual tradition more likely. It's about Tantra itself. It's about exploring humanity. Humanity in the divine aspect. I know a lot of us are awakening in this age, and we are finding ourselves being drawn to things out of the norm, untraditional things. And so you may start to hear words that pique your interest. And for a lot of people lately, tantra and tantric is a word that is piquing interest. I use this word to describe myself as a tantric expressionist. I focus on my Empress Queen 55 page. I focus more upon the sexual aspect of it all, the sexual energy of tantric. But I live my life out in the tantra aspect as far as connecting with humanity and the divine consciousness of humanity, allowing myself to transform by growing and using that energy as a catalyst to help the transformation. The Tantra energy also helps you to have spiritual realizations and can also be very helpful when you do decide to engage sexually, if you know the different techniques that you can do to enhance those sexual experiences. Now, one of the main things that I love to do when exploring in the sexual experience and embracing the tantric atmosphere and energy is to have the sounds of the vibrations and frequency of that tantric energy. So to give you a feel of it, I am actually playing the music in the background. It can be a range from the exotic, sensual, sexual sounds, or it could be more like this. It's like the deep bass drum and a horn, and just the vibrations of it. It's just like, so yeah. There are many aspects of the tantric energy. I want to define the actual word using Google, what Google says about tantric energy. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I already had it up, but while I'm looking, tantric methods, the breathing aspect of it is included a lot in like yoga and meditations. It's more of a focus on breathing in through your nostrils and out of your mouth at some aspects. And then other aspects, it's actually breathing in through your mouth and breathing out of your mouth. It all depends on the practice of what you are actually doing and what you want to do. A lot of people don't realize that breath meditation is so helpful. It's helpful in so many ways. And so if you get in a routine of practicing breath meditation, just breathing for, like, some people know how to meditate and they just sit and meditate, great. But breath meditations is you meditating with your breath. And so you would just be taking those deep breaths in and out and holding them longer and longer each time. I would love to do something like that with some people. It's like, I went through a breath meditation and it was amazing. I did it through Forbidden Knowledge. They had a seminar with I forget his name. This guy, he was a professional in that area. I forget what they call them, but it was literally a great experience. The whole meditation was like for an hour, and you really go through different phases. You start off soft and mellow and shallow, and then you build up as you go. And that whole experience and process was an amazing one, and it's one that I encourage people to do. It's called breath work. I call it a breath meditation, but it's called breath work. So anyway, getting back to what we're talking about, because it's all intertwined, but the whole breathing aspect of the tantric energy is so important, especially if you are one who are adapting different practices for your lifestyle, like yoga and meditation, to help you balance your energy in life, period. A lot of people are realizing that the more they have quiet time with themselves and they focus and they meditate and they stretch their bodies and they do the yoga, that it is very beneficial and very helpful. So you could try it a couple of times, and if you realize that, in the beginning it might be a little hard for some people, but you'll feel better afterwards. And once you start to feel that difference, you might as well go on and start making it a habit for you to do. I've always been one to be, I don't want to say athletic, but I've always worked out or exercised. Like, at some point in my life, I'm always exercising. So I stay active. Now, I don't always go to the extreme, like going to the gym all the time, but I just make sure I stay active. At some point in my life, when I started transitioning in my spiritual journey, from the traditional religious practices that I used to have. At some point, it transitioned from me actually embracing those things to embracing a new way of being or doing. So I realized for myself that I wanted to try yoga and then meditation. So for most people, you might be drawn to it, or it might be suggested to you for something that you should try or do, and then you might try it and it could work for you. Well, once I started with my yoga and my meditations, I just kept going and I kept going until I found information about other things. And eventually I came across tantric energy experiences, and I realized that for me, because some people are very much so sexual beings, some people have really high sexual energy within them, the world would look upon us as nymphos. But let me tell you something. I don't like to label myself things like that, but I do like to be true to who I am. So if I can find a word that describes me, I'll embrace it. But some of these words the world uses I don't like. But nympho is one of them. So I have a very, very high sex drive, and there are a lot of people who have very, very high sex drives. What that entails is that you are a being who has a lot of sexual energy all the time. What people don't realize is that sexual energy is not always used for sex. It is energy that can be used to create, to manifest, to transform and heal you, your body, and within. So I want to share these things with you. There are ways there are ways that we can adapt to the practice of tantric energy. Okay, let me just read to y'all what Google says about tantric techniques. Tantric techniques include breathing, yoga, and meditation that can then increase sexual energy. A common misconception about tantric sex is that it involves wild, uninhibited sexual experiences. While tantric techniques can open you up to new sensations, it's much a mental practice as a spiritual one. So the practice of tantric energy, when it involves sex, it's a whole experience. It's the total package. It's the mental, it's the physical, and it's also the spiritual aspect. In order to bring yourself to that state of experiencing that sensual energy, you have to prepare yourself. And in preparation, it calls for meditation. You will need to know how to focus and meditate and how to breathe through those moments of arousal. Breathe correctly through those moments of arousal. Like, sometimes when people have sex, they like to talk. Sometimes I like that, sometimes I don't. Especially when I'm more of being in a tantric place, right? So the focus For me, sex is not what it was today. Sex is not what it was 20, 25 years ago. It's not. I have a different mindset. I have a different understanding of the power of the act of sex. So when I go into a sexual experience, I'm 9 times out of 10 going in with the tantric energy, the tantric mindset. With that being said, there's focus. And so in the midst of all things, even though I am intensely focused on enjoying myself, I am also focused on my breathing, my movement, the way that I release my energy during the time of this sexual exchange and engagement. For some people, they might say, I don't have a high sex drive. I don't have tantric energy within me. And it's really easy to gain, especially if you just practice. Allow yourself to become more sensual. How can I become more sensual? Pay attention to yourself through your senses. When you smell something like that catches your nose, like, just really allow yourself to, like, ooh, that smells good. Like, really start embracing that whole energy of being aroused by the smell, because aromatherapy is everything. So if you allow yourself to embrace your sensuality when it comes to smells, then you will definitely allow yourself to begin that process. Okay, that's one thing. Touch is another thing with the whole tantric energy. You can just me touching myself, I'm giving myself chill bumps. I wish y'all could see it, but yeah. So touch is everything. Once you get that energy flowing in you, and you can even touch someone like this, without touching them, and still project the energy. That too is tantric energy. You got to know how to flow in it, and you got to learn how to embrace it. A lot of people are so caught up in the idea of sex being rough and wild, and like I said earlier, as Google defines it, it is not of the such. I mean, it can be if that's what you want it to be. But if you want to have a whole tantric experience, it is sensual, spiritual, and mental. So you definitely have to have preparation for it. Your first tantric experience may not be one that you can just go full blown in. You might, if you have the opportunity, you might want to go to a tantric specialist and let them actually work with you with your energy to get you to that place of being sensual and sexual, with an exchange of energy, because they're professionals, so they can know how to help you arouse that energy within you and then balance it within yourself. Also, with the senses, not just smell, not just touch, but the sounds. That's exactly why I have the music playing, so that you can understand. We are different kinds of beings, and many of us are turned on different kinds of ways. But in totality, all of our senses work one and the same. So one is connected to the other. And if we are able to be aroused and our interest peaked in those areas simultaneously, that is the key. That is where the flow of the tantric energy is very helpful. Very, very helpful. So if you want to start embracing your tantric energy, just start off by doing some breathing exercises. Just take deep breaths in and out, and then allow yourself to embrace the flow of the energy that you feel within yourself. Just relax and let go, and allow yourself to feel you. That's just an initial practice that you can do. As far as the spirituality aspect of the tantric energy, like I said, it is more than just the whole sex thing. It's a spiritual path to realization, because that same energy, your spiritual life path of realization, because the same energy that is within you that you use to engage with other beings to have sex with, that same energy can be used to create. Like, say for instance, and you guys may have heard me say this before at some point, but say for instance, I'm in the mood to have sex. You know how you get when you in the mood, but I'm not able to right now. And because I'm choosing wisely, because I'm on my life journey and I am allowing myself to open up spiritually, I choose not to masturbate. So what am I going to do? I'm going to pick up a paintbrush and a canvas and go to town. That's what I'm going to do. Or I'm going to sit before my laptop and start writing erotica story, because I got the feeling all in me. I got the energy. So I'm going to write an erotica story. Or I'm just going to allow myself to enjoy the feeling without touching myself. That is the perfect way to start to get to know yourself with this energy that you have within you. That's a good time to start practicing the breathing. You already there. You already got the energy in you. Now you need to focus and meditate with that energy and practice your breathing. I'm giving y'all some tips. I hope y'all gonna put this in action for y'all. So let me look at some other stuff for y'all. All of this stuff that I'm sharing with you are things that you can look up yourself. So let me say this. If you are interested in embracing your sensual tantric energy, not just sexually, but mentally, spiritually, and physically, I am more than willing to give you some introductory consultations to help you along your journey, because it's an individual journey and each person needs to know for themselves. Y'all, excuse me. Each person needs to know for themselves what their role is within their own life when it comes to the tantric energy. Unfortunately, for some people, everybody's capable of tapping in, but for some people, it's just gonna lie dormant in them because they don't use it. And just because you having sex don't mean you using tantric energy. That's not what that is. I mean, let me not say it like that. Okay, it's a thing, but you gotta tap into that thing. Y'all don't mind me. I hate when my hair be like that, and I just noticed it. Okay, anyway. So it's a thing. It's a vibe. That's what I should say. It's a vibe. And if you don't allow yourself to flow in that vibe and embrace that vibe, then you could be stuck with a whole lot of pent up energy within you that you could be using to manifest greatness in your life. You could be using to enjoy loving yourself and experiencing yourself. You could be using it to unblock blockages within your energy spaces. You could be using it to have better sexual encounters. You could be using it for all kind of things to balance your energy within and just have an everyday balanced life. To be able to enjoy your senses more. Like people who really flow within their tantric energy are happy people. And when I say happy, I don't necessarily mean they walking around here smiling, happy-go-lucky, like, hey, all the time. No. What I'm talking about is they are comfortable, content, not grouchy, pleasant to be around. They just got this vibe. You ever meet people who you just slick turned on by them, but you don't want to say it because their whole vibe is just like, damn, they cool. But it's something about them. Them kind of people, them be the ones who are really operating in their tantric energy, whether they know it or not. Some people know and they do it well. And others, it's a natural thing for them. They're probably more like me, whereas they're the ones with the very high sex drives. People who have very high sex drives carry a lot of sexual energy, a lot of tantric energy. And remember what I said, just because, excuse the dog barking in the background, just because the energy is tantric doesn't necessarily mean that it's sexual. Once you start flowing in it, you'll get to understand what I mean, because it's a thin line, but there is one there that separates it. So once we actually start flowing in that, and you can get an understanding by embracing all the different aspects of being tantric, embracing your senses, practicing meditations and your breathing, allowing yourself to feel you and know you and learn you, then you'll begin to understand. Allowing yourself to hear the sounds and embrace those sounds, and just let your body flow when you hear these sounds. Like this kind of sounds, the music that's going right now just makes me want to I could go to a whole nother place. But it's so easy for me to just get into it, And for those of you all who allow yourselves to go to that place, then you will find that you are a natural at embracing tantric energy. And for those who aren't naturals, it's a practice like anything else. What they say, practice make perfect. In my eyes, we can strive for perfection as we see fit. So, if you want and you desire to have that energy and have new experiences to take your life experiences to the next level, not just your sexual experiences and encounters, but if you want to take your life experiences to the next level, then one of the greatest things that you can do for yourself is begin to learn about Tantra and the Tantra energy, the Tantric energy, and the Tantra powers. So let's look a little bit on that just for a 2nd. Now, tantric powers are mostly notated to be sexual. It's an opportunity for you to become free and liberated, spiritually liberated, because the act of sex is spiritual, even though there are physical parts intertwining. The whole act is of the soul, a spirit nature. And honestly, I've said this before, but two people can engage and have sex without literally having intercourse. So once you learn how to be tantric within yourself and with yourself, you can also exchange those energies with other beings. And that, my friends, that's an expansion of consciousness that leads to a whole nother kind of liberation. If you feel that you have been stuck in life and you want to be free, Tantra and Tantric energy is what you need. Especially if you feel like you are stuck in a rut with your sexual experiences, like it's just the same routine energy all over and over again. A lot of times people are tired of what they are experiencing and they want something new, and they think just by changing the act of the doing that's going to be it. So if you're used to having sex with one other person all the time, you're like, hey, I want to try something new, let me add one more person, and then you go to a threesome and then you think it's going to be better. For some people it is, but for some people it's not. And part of that is the reason behind that is because you're just changing the act. You're not changing the energy within yourself, within your being. And that could be the case for the others that you're engaging with as well. If they don't embody the energy of the outcome that you want, then you're not going to get it. So how do we get that outcome? It's a practice. Anything worth having, you got to work hard for it, baby. So if you want to have the ultimate sensual, sexual experiences, it's a practice. You got to work for it. And if you want more details on how to work for it, then come see me. DM me, inbox me, however you want to do it. Send me a message, email me. Check out my website, www.empressqueenkenya.com. You can set up and schedule tantric consults from my website. You can schedule readings on my website. I do oracle card readings. So if you want to get some insight about your life and where you are right now, your life path, your journey, where you're going, what does spirit say for you right now? What does the collective have to offer you as far as insight about your journey right now? If you would love to know and you're on that path of learning and yearning, I am here for you. And as I always say, everybody ain't for me and I ain't for everybody. But those who I am for, I'm here for. So with all of that being said, let me also mention my Instagram pages. I'm on IG, Empress Queen 55. That's my Tantric Vibe page. And I'm also on IG at Empress Queen Kenya. That is the inspirational soulspiration page. Everything that will inspire your soul. Uplifting quotes, inspiring words, posts from myself and from others. Information that I feel led to share, I share. So I hope that this soulspiration has given you some insight. And if you have what they call, if you have an interest in tantric energy, if you want to explore it and see what the talk is all about, you can set up a consult. And if you have watched this YouTube video, let me know. I watched the YouTube video. I will give you a discount for your first consult. How about that? Yes. So sweet, right? Okay. So, good people, I am quite done for this soulspiration. It is ending. I am quite thrilled and excited about all the things that are coming forth for me, for you in this journey. If you have found me, please know this is not a coincidence. If I have come through your feed, been placed in your algorithm, or you just already know me and you watching this video, baby, you have been drawn to me and brought to me for a purpose. So together, let's see where this thing goes, okay? Let's see. Because I'm here for a purpose. And my purpose is to give you insight and inspire your soul, to encourage you, to help you along the way as you awaken, as you journey in life, as you grow, as you expand in consciousness and learn more about yourself in this world that we're living in. There is so much to know, but it all begins within our being. And I say that all the time, and I'm going to keep saying it. Until you know yourself, you cannot know anything. You have to learn about you. We are the embodiment of the world that we live in. We are a replica in every way. So when you begin to understand that, and then you begin to understand who you really are, and then where you come from. Because I always say this, we don't all come from the same place. We're not all of the same kind. So, although the different practices that we have can all be intertwined, and we can, in these human suits, we can practice because we're in these kind of vessels. We can practice and do these different rituals and meditations and exercises because we're in these suits, these avatars. So a lot of the things that we can do, all one and the same. But still, knowing thyself is the best part of the game. Look at me rhyming. It just came out, y'all. It just came out. So anyways, please, if you have not already, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Go ahead and subscribe, like, and share. I'm so grateful and honored to be a part of this age that I am in and living in now, with the awareness that I have, the opportunities to have the platforms such as YouTube to share and inspire people. Don't be selfish. Don't keep it to yourself. Share with people that you might think is interested. And again, if you are ready to explore tantric energy, don't hold back any longer. Tantric energy, once again, is not just about sex. It's about life. It's about embracing the energy of self, because we are all filled with it. How we activate it and operate in it is a totally different thing. It's up to us what we do with it. But it's about the mental, the spiritual, and the physical journey of this life. The energy is within. The knowledge is within. The power is within. And knowing thyself helps us to become better, elevated, sensual, tantric beings. So, with that being said, I am grateful for the opportunity to be before you today. Have a great day or night, whichever it is for you when you see this video. Love, peace, light, and darkness be unto you. Know, when I speak this, I speak balance into your life. Ashe.